in my previous video, I showed you how to do the LCD, which is really the LCM. It's just the denominator. And I mentioned that I hate the LCD method, and that I would show you some other ways to solve the same problem. The problem that we're doing was 1/2 plus 1/10. This is some people's favorite way to do an adding fractions problem. They'll draw these arrows like this, but they never explain why you can do that method. Well, today I'm going to show you how it works. If I take the denominators, whatever they are, and I multiply them together, I get 20. What I'm really saying is 1/2 times 1 whole equals another name for 1/2. In this case, I want to change it to be friendly with tenths. So I'm going to change 1/2 by multiplying it by 10 over 10, because 10 tenths is another name for 1 whole. So I do 1 times 10 is 10, 2 times 10 is 20. You might also say, oh, 1/2 of 20 is 10, so 1/2 is 10 over 20, and that works too. That's a great trick for a 1/2. 1/10 times another name for 1 whole. In this case, we're going to use 2 over 2 to make it friendly with halves. That's 10 times 2 is 20, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now I'm going to rewrite this up here and this over here. 10 20ths plus 2 20ths equals 12 20ths. Is it simplified? No, they're even. Alright, so we are going to divide by 1 whole. Okay, 2/2 is another name for 1 whole. I'm doing this because they're even, so I know 12 divides by 2, and I know that 20 divides by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. Is it simplified? No, they're even. I'm going to do it again. Dividing by 1 whole, 2/2. 2/2 is another name for 1 whole. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Is it simplified? Yeah, it is, because 3 is prime and 5 is prime, and they do not simplify anymore. So I said I would explain this arrow thing. So people say that you can go like this. 1 times 10 is 10. And they say you can go like this. 2 times 1 is 2. And then there's this other part, the denominators. You do 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20. So when they talk about doing this arrow thing over here, that's why it works. That is one method for solving an adding fractions problem. And it works no matter what the denominators are. You can always multiply the denominators times each other and then make equivalent fractions and add it together. That's one method that always works. This problem is a special problem because it has 1/2. And when I look at it, this problem kind of pops for me in a different way than problems that don't have 1/2 in them. My first thought when I saw this problem is 1/2. I can make that into something tenths, because 10 is even, so 1/2 of 10 is 5, so 5 tenths. And then I did 5 tenths plus 1/10 equals 6 tenths. Is it simplified? No, they're both even. Divide by 1 whole, in this case 2/2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Is it simplified? Yeah. the same answer. I want to say a quick thing about why I'm dividing by one whole. 5 divided by one whole equals itself. So whenever I take a number, in this case 6/10, and if I divide by one whole, I end up with another name for the same number. That's why I do it. Like and subscribe. Cheers!